Yes. Welcome to another episode of Between Sets. I'm here again with Lanry and David. This is a great discussion. I can't wait to get started. The topic today, or the discussion today, is: do we owe our parents anything? If yes, how much? So, coming from a Nigerian background, what is it like in terms of giving back to our parents? Do we owe them anything, or is it the case of we can do our own thing? Who wants to start?
When you say owe them anything, do you mean in terms of what, like for bringing you into the world and raising you and paying for stuff and being your parent? And I wouldn't say necessarily owe them, but I think it's a situation where you're giving back with no obligation to give back. Do you get what I'm saying? Luckily, and I can't speak for a lot of Nigerians because I know a lot of Nigerians is a bit different, but luckily my parents have never raised me on the perspective that everything that we're given to you, you need to give it to us back because we gave it to you. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how they've never raised me like that. But I think as I've grown older and I've seen the stuff that they have done and the sacrifices that they've made, it almost makes me feel like I've got to, you know, show my appreciation and say thank you in some way, shape or form. Like uprooting a whole family of 5, moving from Niger all the way to the UK. My dad wasn't even here for like 3 years. He had to stay in Niger because he had to sort out all the stuff to get back here. But I won't class it as owing. I would class it as paying dues back that weren't requested to be paid back. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think the key word there is I agree with you. The key word is appreciation. I think owing is dangerous. I don't think you should. I don't think you owe your parents anything, really and truly. Because I think owing causes big problems. What I mean by that is it doesn't allow the next generation to move forward. I've seen a lot of times, and a lot of Nigerians, even Africans in general, can attest to this. Yeah, what tends to happen is that a lot is placed on the child that moves abroad, and then that child, obviously adult, is just about fending for themselves, and then all their salary, like no matter how big or small it is it tends to then go back home. And so that person continues to look backwards rather than that person can't enhance their lives and then again move on for their children's children and so on and so forth. Now, obviously we've been raised in the West, so there's a degree of understanding of investment, a degree of understanding of even to some degree Bible in leaving inheritance for your children's children. So if that's the concept, we can't constantly look backwards, because if you keep looking backwards, then, I mean, you can't move forward for your own. And at some point, I mean, people want to marry, settle down. Your parents can't be, your wife becomes your first, you know what I mean? That's your new family, that's your first priority. And if your wife also wants to do the same thing, like she looks back at her family, keeps, like your family as a whole don't progress. But I think I do agree with David's thought process in a sense where I don't owe my parents anything, but I have to be grateful for the sacrifices that they did make. And so me giving anything back to them is only appreciation. But I should never ever feel compelled to do more than appreciation. So I think that's where the issue normally lies, where some parents feel like it's your duty to look after me at this stage. It's your duty to, so any bad decision that I have made as a parent, that's not your business. It's your duty to, and I think that's where it gets problematic, because then that child, adult can't move forward with their family, and then you're now creating a generational problem where it's constantly backwards. Money's getting sent backwards rather than money. At the end of the day, sacrifices are made for children. Like I see many Asian families who work in the farm and stuff like that, where their children come on to be doctors, tech specialists and whatnot, and they've changed the grand scheme of things because that parent was willing to be a farmer till he or she died. Versus, I think in the Nigerian culture, we like to do show a bit. Like, so even though as a parent you might not be doing well, but my son bought me this, my son done this, my son just graduated from this, and I think that causes a bit, sometimes it doesn't give true reflection on your real life situation and scenario to enable your family to move forward. So in a nutshell, I think I agree with David in a sense where I don't owe my parents anything, but I appreciate everything they've done for me. And I need to be able to not just say it, I need to be able to demonstrate what appreciation in terms of physical stuff, you know what I mean, giving back and whatnot, but I shouldn't feel propelled to give more than I can.
I think that's a very balanced and fair argument, definitely. But I'll give you a bit of backstory and what even prompted this question. So I was watching Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you know him. Yeah. So I think he must have received a call from this lady. She was dating a Mexican guy. So he's now migrated into the US, and his family back home are putting him in immense pressure. Where obviously the couple, they want to settle down in the US. They want to buy a house and things like that. But his family back home are requiring him to still send a big chunk of his pay back home. And he's like, he wants to, obviously he feels obligated to help his parents because they're stuck there. They can't, it's not like they can come to US and, you know, try get the opportunity. And yeah, it just put a lot of pressure on the lady that was calling her, bless her. And then I also saw something as well where this girl that went uni in the UK, her mum was basically, took all her student finance. Yes. Yeah. And then I've also heard situations where even some of my friends, I don't want to expose them too much, but all their work money has to go back to the mum. I think the mum's a bit ill and things like that, so she can't work, but his work money has to go back to the mum. Like, she sees the paycheck.
Yeah, that's where I think.
That's where it gets.
That for me is you had a child to almost become a cash cow in a sense, because I understand perspectives of your mum's sick, understandable, but obviously the scenario where you've took the student finance, that's crazy. But then I think, okay, question then, do you think that's just generally a problem within African cultures? Because I don't know many white people's parents to do that.
I think white people can do it. I've seen white people
I-
ask their kids like £500 for rent.
Okay, so what's so okay. See the rent thing, right?
I'm with that.
The rent thing. I have two views of the rent thing, right? So I live at home, right? I pay towards the house bills and requirements of the house. My parents have never taxed it as rent, but every month when I get paid, I send my mum a specific amount of money which covers bill A, bill B, bill C. Do you get what I mean? Because I'm 27, I'm living in the yard, Marge is buying the food that I'm cooking and eating, the electricity that I'm watching my TV on. So it's never been obligated to me to put that money forward, but I do because I'm an adult. On the flip side, where parents do obligate their child to do that, I personally don't agree with that. Oh, we got counted. I love it.
So I think there's multiple ways to skin a cat. And I think one thing I realize is every child is different.
Yeah.
So I think, obviously, David, I haven't known you long, but that concept means that I think you was an obedient child.
Yes.
To some degree, in a sense where it's what I'm saying. Like, if some parents they know that if I say to this child, do X, child will do X. Yeah. But you know, if you say to this child, do X, that child's going a long way around. So I might have to do him differently than I do this child. So I think the perspective on you're more. It seems like you've matured to the place of, you know what, appreciation. Like, let me handle this bill and this bill. That contributes to this. It's pretty straightforward. You know that. Every child doesn't think that way. Even, not even a child, but every adult doesn't even think that way. So, my mom, for example, when I got to a certain age, mom was like, yo, these bills, like, guys, you might know, big men in this house, like, boom, 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 boom. Now, someone might say, did you need that? Yeah, we did. Like, you know what I mean? And there's another situation where I feel like there's another situation I think, because I say, when I have my kids, guaranteed, you're paying bills. Not because I need you to pay bills. I'm trying to teach you a lesson here. That you're gonna have to pay your own way in this life. Now, some people say what to do with the money. Oh, do you take the money and save it for them and blah, blah, blah. Choose what you want to do with that. Like, either you choose to save it and help your child excel in life and whatnot, or I'm just teaching you a lesson that, you know what, there's order in life. And so you have to pay your way in life to the order. If I decide to pocket it, I decide to pocket it. If I decide to save it for you and whatnot, which I probably will do, invest in either in your ISA and things like that. I'll just, because I would have had an ISA from when the child was young, just contribute. You see what I'm saying? Like, little things like that. But I think the concept is, I've even gone as far as to say that at some point I might have an age restriction on when my child should leave the yard. Now, this is going slightly off topic, but I just personally believe, obviously, I'm out of my mum's house, innit? But it's just one of these things, I feel like, in this day and age, yeah, we're using, I need to say this carefully, but again, it is what it is. I feel like we're getting older, and I'm seeing a lot of people go on crazy holidays, still living at parents' yard, innit? And I think that's because everyone's saying, oh, it's mad expensive to live, it's mad expensive to move out. And yes, it is, in the grand scheme of things. But David, like you said earlier on in the conversation, where people's parents have come from, younger, and having to fend, if you think about the concept, my parents, they came here in their early 20s, Think about English not being their first language, accent, and we know what accent looks like in school, let alone as an adult trying to find work. And then some people's situations, papers ain't fully 100. Think about the whole concept. And then some people bring children with them. And so you put all of that into perspective, and then we're saying now that some of us are, if not past our parents' age when they came, and we're going to be cushy in our parents' house. I'm saying that basically, I know that sometimes you have to give your kids the path to least resistance. So if I say to my son, my missus was like, so would you say that to your daughter? I said, I'm a bit more, I might be easy with the daughter. Like, she might stay, because I don't want her out there fall into the wrong hands in terms of men, because you're looking for. Whereas my guys, I might say, after a certain age, 25, it might be, you got to keep it moving. I need you to find your own way. Not to say that if you call me and say, Dad, I need some financial support, I'll borrow you this, but it's going to be on the basis that, son, you need to find your way out in this world. You need to figure it out. And I think in this day and age now, a lot of parents, which I understand, they don't want their children to go through what they've been through. So, but I feel like they're not allowing their children to go through the path of least resistance. It's like, save till it's the perfect time. Save till you got all your money down for deposit. Deep down, when we all know that there's never a perfect time. Our parents couldn't do everything perfectly at the right time. But by God's grace, we always make it in the end, innit? So
I think I'm with you on that, definitely. I think being at home is definitely a privilege, because I know people that are in a situation where they can't even be at home. Maybe they have too many siblings, there isn't space in the house, so they have to, move out. And it's definitely a discussion I've had with myself personally, because I did move out at one point and I loved it. Obviously, paying bills and that, it does give you a sense of responsibility that I couldn't do certain things that my friends were doing, because I'm like, no, next month I have to pay this, I have to pay that. So I do think there's a blessing in that as well. And I think sometimes being at home, it does make you feel a bit more comfortable to go and do that when you really shouldn't be doing that. So back to Landry's point, if it was a case that I was living by myself, I probably wouldn't go on as many holidays. I probably wouldn't buy as many, clothes and things like that. So, yeah.
You know what, as well? One thing that you said that I was like, you know what? You just outed me. Because, I'm selling my car. So I've got a BMW 320D, 2017, top spec, nice. Finance, I'm selling it this month. Because one thing I said when I looked at outside, I've got a Mercedes compressor, 2005. No finance payments, classic petrol, easy. Do you get what I'm saying? No finance monthly payments, because of the point that you just said. I realized as I was growing up, I got too addicted to, how does this look? How do I look on that? And because I was still at home, and because I had that bubble of, oh, it's cool. Even if I don't have the peas this month, I'm still gonna eat, because there's rice and stew in the crib. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's that comfortability around being at home, and I think it's that kind of, back to like you were saying about that appreciation that I have, because it gave me that comfortability, because my parents, I'm not gonna say my parents cuddled me, they never cuddled me, but they gave me the space to be comfortable. Do you get what I'm saying? They don't want to see you struggle. No? They don't want to see me struggle. So now, obviously, as I look at the situation, I think, okay, I'm 27, I'm turning 28, I'm about to be 30. I'm not really trying to be at the crib for too much longer. I'm not. And I think that as I get older and as I look at situations and I look at what my dad had to do, the sacrifices that my dad had to make in order to take a family of 5, a wife, 3 sons, moving from one country to another country, come to this country, it's all centered around that feeling of, one, I've got to look back and appreciate the stuff that my parents have done. I've got to pay this back towards them in any way, shape, or form that I can. And secondly, I've got to now make decisions looking at what they've done, how that can transpire and push me forward. Like, God willing, 2027, I'm out the crib, in my own house. That's my plan. That's why I'm like, yeah, the whip's got to go. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't need that next go-yard bag. I don't need the DLVs. Get me that white tee from Primark. Do you get what I'm saying? The multi-pack. The multi-pack, the 3 for 7. Do you get what I'm saying? But I think that's almost the beauty of how, I don't want to say how well you're raised, but how well the environment that you're raised in affects how then now you start to step up and move forward. Because we only ever know as parents as adults. Yeah. So as we start to become adults, we notice that positive tendencies that we're seeing from them and how that can reflect us. Because when we're kids, we're like, why you man just being jarring? Like, you man are just being jarring. Like, but we only ever know them as adults. So then as we now start to become adults, and like I was saying to Dan before we started, I said, now I'm older, my relationship with my dad is probably the best it's ever been, because we speak to each other as men, as adults. My dad does something wrong, you've done that wrong, I don't like it, don't do it again. My dad said to me, you've done this wrong, I don't like it, don't do it again. Not, I'm your dad, you've done this wrong, do you get what I'm saying? So I think it's a beautiful thing in terms of certain relationships that we have with our parents, how we only really ever notice them as human beings when we go past a certain age.
Definitely. Is there anything you wanted to touch on that?
No, I think, yeah, like, I was going to add that. I think, David, yeah, you have to take into consideration, it's even a blessing to be able to understand the logic around, there's some people that are over 30 that have not grasp that concept. Yeah. So you're 27 and you're saying, okay, by 2027, yeah, I want to potentially leave the house, which basically even lessens the load on my parents. Yeah. I don't know where you are in the five in the 5 of the kids, but in terms of age, are you the youngest? Okay, cool. So, but even still, like the concept of, okay, if I'm 2027, I'll leave. Bills, they don't have to worry about me. Yeah. And I see the shoulders, so the food is going to be a mad thing. So they're like, you know what? Well, the whole concept, like that's a mature thinking. Okay, I'm gonna sell the whip so I can do this. Like you're already in the house before moving out, if that makes sense. Like, because that's what you do when you know what, I can't even afford to do this, but I can afford to do this. And then like that's that strategy going on. You got some people that until you force them, like, listen, you can't do this no more. You can't live at my space no more. Yeah. It's only at that point. I remember Wretch, I think it was Wretch 32, I don't even call him 32 anymore, Wretch. Anyway, I remember him telling the story of how his mom kicked him out years ago, like, I think it was like early. And that kind of forced him to grow up. And that's what I was kind of saying earlier on in a sense where some children, they just grow and they mature and they can logically see how things work. And as a parent, that's probably the blessing. Because it's not forced upon the child, because there can potentially be a struggle where you force it on the child and the child doesn't understand what you're putting them through, and then it becomes this, like, I'm not rating my parents, my parents don't really love me, they ain't really showing love for me, like other people's parents, I still got them in the, versus a parent saying, I'm doing this so that I'm taking the risk that you hate me now to understand what I was doing in the future. But that's the risk the parent is taking by forcing that, you got to bounce. Like, I can't have you eating and drinking and thinking everything's free, going on holidays, every day new Amazon package comes to the house, every day new package. My mum used to run that all the time. Bare packages come to the house. My brother was key for that. Like, and mum's like, what's going on here? And I think for me, that's where I kind of realized, like, some kids, I think parents as well have an important role to play in a sense where obviously work and so many things go on where sometimes they don't really get time to study all their kids. Yes, yeah. But it's important where a parent understands that if I treat, okay, like, let's use you, David, as an example. Your parents look at you and say, okay, David's quite mature. He's been mature from young. I can let David just be. I don't have to talk too much to David. But firstborn or secondborn or thirdborn, the difficulty of the parent's job is that thirdborn might say, but you're treating my man like, but Yo, at the end of the day, even me amongst my siblings, there's 3 of us. We're all different, yo. Like how you treat me, how you treat my brother, it's different. But so when you're young, you don't get it. But when you're older, you realize that, you know what? I needed tough love. He didn't need tough love. You know what I mean? So this is it.
Definitely. I think that's the second part to the question as well. I think it was, is it a good thing to move away from your parents in terms of achieving success? Let's say I had the opportunity in Australia, a massive opportunity. Would you leave your family for that?
Weird you brought this up. Yeah. Weird you brought this up. So my mum is the reason why I say mum, so my mum's like my twin. Okay. I call her my twin because Dan's met my mum before, and when he met her, he was like, you guys are so, like, me and my mum were both Tauruses, like, we're just the same person, innit? She's very big on success. She's very big on driving me to be as successful as I possibly can be. The other day, she comes to me. So my auntie lives in America. My auntie's married to my mum's brother. My mum's brother is a doctor, works in private medical care. They're up. She's told me that the kitchen is bigger than our whole house. She goes to me, she goes, would you ever move to America? I'm like, why? She goes, I was speaking to my auntie's called Finna, Auntie Finna. She was like, there's DevOps apprenticeships, there's data analytic apprenticeships in America. Would you ever go? I'm like, I need to look into it, I need to research. But my mom's very big on where the opportunity is, go grab it by the bull of his horn. Go to America, live there. It's not even like you got to find accommodation. You can go live with unks, 6-bed crib, you're nice. So my parents have been very big on wherever the opportunity is, go find it, go chase it, go get it. And yes, I would move for success. It just has to be right. But on the flip side, one thing that does kind of, I wouldn't say make it harder for me, but one thing that does make it difficult is, one thing that I wish I always had growing up was a great relationship with my grandparents. I don't have that good of a relationship with my grandparents because we always lived too far from them. We never saw them, we were never close to them, we never had that. And because of how much I love my mum and my dad, I want to give my kids that opportunity to have that same love, to have the nurturing of my mum. Because obviously I'm not taking nothing away from my wife. My wife is the first and foremost, the point of call when it comes to my kids. But because I saw the amazing job that she did with my brothers, my oldest brother married, 4 kids. Middle brother, successful, he's out there in the world. I'm on my way. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I'm on my way. I've got 2 businesses, I've got a good job, I drive, like little things. Do you get what I'm saying? So I saw what my mum's influence did in our lives. To deprive my kids of that would be tough for me, because two months out of the 12, for me, and I know I don't want to make it seem like I'm on a mummy's boy thing, but I think in the perspective of, because when I tell people this, they're like, oh yeah, you're just such a mummy's boy. But I don't think it's about being a mummy's boy. I think it's just about family values and connections. And I wish I had a close relationship with my granddad. I wish I had a close relationship with my nan. Like, I wish, and it almost burns me that when my grandparents passed away, because obviously it's inevitable, it almost burns me that the only sadness I'll feel is the sadness for my mum, not my own personal sadness. Do you get what I mean? So on the, yes, I want success. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to this place. But then on the flip side is, what am I losing? What avenue am I losing? And that's really, 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 really tough for me, because I even look at my brother. My brother lives 2 hours away, right? That's not that far. But my parents only see the grandkids ever so often, because how often are you going to get a chance to just drive 2 hours away? We're talking about 24 hours away. So it's now almost another question on the back of that. Are you sacrificing family for success? And how much is success worth over family?
Literally, I had a friend I was in Nigeria. We was on holiday having a good time, and I had a friend who was stating something similar, where they wanted to move to, I think it was Canada, but they decided against it because of that same thought process. Like, what are we leaving behind? Like, they have quite a big family as well, so he was kind of contemplating it. So I think they opted not to go. Now, for me, I think you go. I think you 100% go. Because, I say that because I think what tends to happen is that you're sacrificing either way. So you have to decide what's really important for you at that current time. Life is not this linear type of graph, or it's not just because I made a decision now, that's decisions that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. It has impacts and it has consequences, but you can always change. You can always, and obviously I know you have people that say stuff like, and that's down from their own personal experiences of, you never know what can happen tomorrow. God forbid you lose your parents tomorrow and whatnot. That's the decision I have to make. You, at some point, God forbid you don't take the opportunity and it never comes around again. Like, that's also the sacrifice you're willing to make as well. You know what I mean? It happens, it's two coins, so it happens on both sides. I just personally believe that sometimes as an individual, especially I think more so as a man, that you have to enhance yourself as early as possible, as quick as possible, because there's going to come a time where you can no longer do what you used to be able to do. At that point there, then you can scale back. But you can't have all the energy, all the energy and all the vim while you're young and not make use of it. Because the only people that will suffer, funny enough, is the people that you truly love. At the end of the day, as men, providers, yes, we are. We're more than just providers, but fundamentally, we're supposed to provide. And we can only provide if we put ourselves in the best possible position. So if that means for X amount of years I need to be in the Middle East to DevOps, do what I need to do, then I will do that, knowing that maybe later on in my life I'm coming back, or I've set things up. And look, I'll give you an example here. Most of our parents, they all came here. My mum, when they came here, her dad had passed in Nigeria. She couldn't get to go back. I have a friend, actually, tell a lie, young guy, who moved to the States and hasn't been able to come back, and his mum passed away. You know what I mean? And he's similar to our age. So, and I know that burns. I know that burns him because the difficulty of not even being able to come back and do the rest of because the way the system works until you can, you know what I mean? So I know that burnt him. But at the end of the day, that's the sacrifice you have to make at that time. You can't read into the future. Another old head said to me, because his missus passed suddenly, but they had planned that basically, what they had planned was that when the children go older and start living off there, they're going to travel the world. So basically, the missus passed and they didn't get to travel the world. So I asked him, would you have done anything differently? Because obviously, there's always the old age argument of live your best life now while you can, because you never know what tomorrow holds, versus saving it off for a later date. So I asked him, knowing what you know now, would you have been traveling little bit by little bit then? And then you can always say that at least we did some bits and pieces. He said, no, I'll do exactly the same thing because that was the best decision we could make at that time. And I think fundamentally in life, you have to live with the decisions you make at that current time because you have no other information. So as a man, personally, I'll say more so than a woman because I think, don't slay me online and that, but I think women have to think about relationships slightly different than men. Men, I can go outside, if I see 100 women, I can approach every single one. Women don't have the same luxury. They have to position themselves slightly differently. So that's why I say for women it's different. Whereas as a man, if I'm going to the Middle East, I can go America, I'm going anywhere where success is, I can go and I can find a partner there. It's a lot more easier. So yeah, my concept as a man, provision in your earlier years is super important. Because in your 40s, 50s, 60s, it's difficult. Opportunities is not the same, so.
I don't know, I'm stuck in between because I think one thing that I learned from my dad was, his dad was a great man. but he never really had that time with his dad because his dad was always working, and even he at a young age he was always working as well. And then it's not till I got older that I was like, damn, I really wish I spent more time with granddad. Grandma I spent time with, but granddad was always working, and it got to a point where he was just working so much that it gave him a stroke. And yeah, it gave him a stroke and he passed. And even my dad couldn't even go back to Niger to see him at the time that he passed. But I just thought, damn, like I wish I actually spent more time with him. So that's what kind of made me see things differently. Because even my prior relationship before, I was always saying to her, like, if opportunity came, I'm leaving. Wow. With or without you, like, I'm leaving. Like, I have to take that opportunity. And then she was like, no, you can't do that. Like, my mom's here, my dad's here. Like, I want our kids to be able to, spend time with the grandparents. And looking at her family, that's how they are. Yeah. They all live in the same area. They're all very good, very tight-knit family. And that's a value itself. That's that's almost priceless. Some people don't have that. Yeah. So with that, and my family's like, we can leave, we can adapt in any country. Yeah. Like, we learn. But so I think it's dependent on what you value most. Yeah. For her, family was a big thing. Money doesn't mean the most to them. It's more about family. But for my family, money means almost a lot more. So it's hard, man. It's hard. But I think based on the relationship I have with my dad now, I definitely want my kids to meet granddad. Yeah. I definitely want my kids to spend time with him. And I hope I could be in a position where they can still see him quite frequently, if possible. Because he's not going to be around forever. Yeah, he's not, isn't it? So, yeah.
I think it's also on the point of being able to position yourself where the access to be able to come back when it works for you is easily accessible. Because it's not as easy as that. I might only be able to come back when my bonus lands. That's in 6 months. Do you get what I mean? I might only be able to come back when that daycare payment has been paid off. Do you get what I'm saying? I might only be able to come back when that promotion I've been working for the last 2 years finally lands. So I think it's like you're saying, you can only do what's right in front of you. So if what's right in front of you is taking that step to go to Dubai and do a DevOps apprenticeship for 2 years to put yourself in a position by the 3rd year, and let's say that 3rd year is the year where you're like, you found a nice girl, you've created that family, now it's a conversation of 6 to 7 figures yearly. Oh, let's just go to the UK for 2 months. We'll get a villa out there, we'll get it next to mum and dad, we'll go, or actually, mum, dad, let's fly out to Italy for a month. We got because, like you said, you've done this. Exactly. Do you get what I mean? You've taken that step. And then it's almost then now, like, you don't take the step at 27 because of family, you decide to take that step at 36, but now it's not the pool ain't as juicy as it once was. Do you get what I mean? So as much as, like I said, that flip side of family and all of that still exists, I've always been a really, really, really big believer of when an opportunity is staring you in the face, you would almost be an idiot not to just, do you get what I mean? Grab it. Because you will never know what tomorrow holds. No matter what it is, no matter what your fear is, no matter what. But one thing that you can definitely know is if you don't take this opportunity today, the chances of it being here tomorrow is a lot lower than it is today. That's one thing you know for certain, because you're not the only person that you got sent the application form. 25 other men got sent the application form. There's only 3 spots. Everybody sent in their application yesterday. You're doing yours 3 days later. Yours is at yours is at the back of the pile. Yours is at the back of the pile. They're not looking at yours anymore. So it's like, family is important as it is, and I'm a big family man. I'm really, really big family man. I don't think family should ever stop you from chasing an opportunity that that will make your life better.
That begs another question. If family should hear of the opportunity, should there not even be wanting you to go. Because who doesn't want their family member to progress and do really well in life for the sake of me? Like if my brother was like, Larry, I got an opportunity in the States or New Zealand to make some suits for certain clientele, go. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to see you on bro, go. Like, what's that got to do? Like, you see me on the weekends, bro. Like, I'll see you in a couple of years.
I think what you're saying is, in hindsight, it sounds like, yeah, why wouldn't you want your family to do it? But some families just don't understand. If I said to my mum, oh, I'm going to do streaming in the US with Kai Cenat, she doesn't have a clue who Kai Cenat is. She'll be like, nah, Daniel, like, you're leaving your project manager job to go do streaming with some YouTube. They won't understand it. But so that's where I think a lot of parents, the reason they instill this kind of fear in us is because they just don't understand it. So that's where I've seen a lot of people. I always used to be, when I was younger, I used to be annoyed at my dad because I was like, at the time I was one of the best footballers in my primary school. So I was like, Dad, like this guy, he's going to this West Ham Academy. Like I had trials to Southend, but they didn't want to take me. They're like, bro, my son's not going to be a footballer. There's no future in that. So it was very hard pill to swallow at that time. But I mean, now I understand it, but I never got that opportunity because he didn't understand it. So it's hard.
That begs another question. Yeah. So I've been talking about mastery. Yes. Like me and the missus. It's like there's something that's been on my head, yeah. So I remember saying to a friend, yeah, could you allow your child to be a dustbin man or a dustbin person? They vehemently said, no way, it's impossible. And I was like, I get it, because obviously how it looks to society is crazy. But then I remember like my brother used to play a game all the time in it, and then all of a sudden my mom, like, abuse will come out. Game is not everything. Like, you can't, games, you're wasting your life away, boom, 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 boom. And fast forward, people are making millions of game streaming. So I say, all I was trying to say is that from the perspective of, I realized that mastery is the key difference. I think our parents were right in a sense where gaming didn't have it doesn't necessarily lead to what you think it's going to lead to. And every kid shouldn't grow up thinking because they've seen someone successful in one field that they will be successful in that particular field. But one thing I do believe is that if you're great at anything, you succeed beyond people's expectations. So hence why the question was, the question, being a dustbin man or garbage, whatever people call it, isn't necessarily what I was trying to get at. Yeah. I was trying to get at that sometimes innovation comes here in places where only those that are truly in tune or are great and love what they do, they're the ones that find the innovation. So I remember there was a neighbor I had here. I always tell the story everywhere because it was weird to me. The kid used to love being outside. Mm-hmm. Like he was a young boy. He used to love being outside in the mud and stuff like. And my mom would be like, "Don't come in there," or so. That this guy's always muddy, bro. Like he loves the mud. That kid grew up to be a tree surgeon.
Yes, and I know how much money they make.
Bro, he became a tree surgeon, bro. So like in my head, I was like, obviously my mom didn't have no clue what that is. Man's just playing in the mud to her. Whereas I think the same thing in a sense where it could be any job, like garbage person or whatever. I know it's difficult to take because our mentality is warped around certain types of lifestyles. Yeah. Whereas if a kid loves doing the innovation that can come from that is untapped, if you let that child roam and I think even as a parent participate. I think that's key. See what's plausible, like fully immerse yourself in the endless possibilities of what this child is doing. Don't knock it, fully immerse and provide ideas and suggestions as to not just be the average bin man, so to speak. Can you create new bin liners? Can you create new gloves to help the bin? You know what I mean? Like really immerse yourself as a parent to kind of say, this child's not just going to be a normal bin man. This child's going to be someone that changes the world in this space. Because they always say it's the simple stuff that makes the most money.
100%.
So it's what I'm saying.
The things that we need every day.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree. I think one thing that I will always want to instill in my kids, and I personally live like this, yeah. Learn how to be really good at one thing, you be amazing at everything. Because you will teach yourself what it takes to be good at one thing. You rinse and repeat, you rinse and repeat, you rinse. People always call me, I kind of describe myself a jack of all trades. Like, I know how to cut hair. I know how to cook. Clothing. I've done clothing in the past. I've done this. I've done that. I know how to sew on a sewing machine. I know how to do. But the reason why I pride myself in learning so many skills, it's less about the skills, but more so about what it teaches me. It teaches me the ability to try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. And to your point of, if my child says to me they want to go to being a dustbin man, for me it's more important about what can you learn within this space that can transpire to be something better than what it is right now. But on the flip side, for me as a father, my question would have to be of, what's your ceiling? What's your ceiling within this space? Because if it's just a conversation of, oh, this is just what I want to do, I don't really have anything else, I'm not going to knock it on the perspective of, don't do it. But I think for me, I just have to look at it in the angle of, I would have hoped that what you saw within our household in terms of me encouraging you to try new things and do this would push you to step further than just stopping at a ceiling. Because I don't believe in ceilings. I believe breaking past the ceiling. So that's the thing that I can't agree with. I can't agree with my child accepting a ceiling. I've always said, no matter what my child says to me that they want to do, I don't care. As long as your determination is to be the best within that industry or to be innovative in that industry. So it's a question of, okay, you being a bin man to just be a bin man. Yeah. Because the ceiling for that, it's not that high. Or are you being a bin man?
I've recently seen a guy that he cleans bins. So he goes, yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it? But yeah, it's a bit different. So with him, he'll go around streets, he'll have like this machine that he built where it cleans the bin.
It ends differently.
Didn't start, But I'm sure he might have started as a bin man, be like, yo, these things are always, it's the innovation.
It ends up different.
Yeah.
It ends up different, but it doesn't start different. But I think, like I said earlier on in the conversation, every parent knows their child. Yes. If a child, to an extent, should know their child, innit? If your parent comes to you with so much energy and vim, it's worth exploring.
Do you know what? To second that as well, to keep on your point, recently I've been looking more into Joe Jackson. Michael Jackson's it. And then in my head I was thinking, we don't get Michael Jackson without Joe Jackson. Everyone's slating him, he abused his kids, he did this. And then I thought, all the greats that we know, their parents,
pivotal.
Yes.
So this has been a point I made. I'll speak to someone, So I got, in my head, examples just flow. Andre Agassi, the Williams sisters, LeVar Ball. Yeah. Oh yeah, we had this conversation already.
But Joe Jackson just came to my head. I was like, damn, all his brothers were successful because of the dad.
Now, again, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, but like you said, the most pivotal point that I think people don't take into consideration is that, do you get Michael Jackson without Joe Jackson? I know the methods might be crazy, and everyone could argue to the cows come home about he could have done this better, he could have done this better, he could have done this better. How many people have tried to do it in so many different ways and it failed? Ultimately, for whatever reason, he was pivotal to not only the success of not just Michael, Jenna, all the other siblings, the whole family. But also the concept around these guys, everyone's parenting for the first time. There's no like, I parented a lifetime ago and I've come back to reparent. Like, he may have had his own issues as well. Obviously, I've not seen the film yet. So, but my logic is just that any parent that's had a successful child that was pivotal in the earlier years, whether negative or positive, like, has to be looked upon, because the whole point is that the child grows up one day. Your prayer and your hope is that this child understands. He may hate me, because Andre Agassi, I remember he hated his dad. I remember Floyd as well. They went through a period where they weren't talking. The whole point is that at some point, the child grows up and says, I may not like my dad, I may not like my mom, but I understand. Or I see what they were trying to do. And if not for them, I might not be in this position. Whatever the relationship looks like, moving forward, that's a whole different, because there's other things that make a human being. It's not just about success, but I know if someone asks me, actually, let me not say that. That's crazy. But I always say this in it, like, because obviously it's decision making in it. Like, I love my mum in it, and I love my parents in it to some degree. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, me and pops ain't really like cool like that, so I gotta be honest in it. But would I sacrifice our relationship? Okay, let's say me and my mum. Would I sacrifice me and my mum's relationship for, I don't know, success and stuff? Like, it's a difficult question to actually answer, considering I've seen this side. Yeah. And someone can say, why must you have one or the other? But in life, sometimes you're not offered opportunity. You're not offered both. You can't have it all. Some people do. Some people don't. Michael Jackson didn't have it all. He had an abusive father, which led to him having other issues in regards to growing up, maturing as an adult.
My point is, everyone says this, but then I also look at the other brothers, and they didn't turn out how Michael turned out. Whether that's down to, I don't know what made Michael so special in terms of, obviously he was an amazing singer,
for sure,
amazing dancer, entertainment as a all, but that's the same dad that they had, but they didn't resent their dad the same way Michael did.
I think the key difference as well is that, and I think Andre Gassi had this quite similar as well, is that he's the youngest, which success came to him at the earliest age. So I think there's something that happens where it's different. Like if like me now, I always say, if success came to me now, I reckon I'll be able to handle it. If you gave it to me success, even like, I'm an older man, you gave it to me 10 years ago, I might be a wild boy. I might be a wild boy. So like all the things, and not talk less of all the experiences I've had now growing up, I lived a normal life. So if that was stripped away from me, I became a prodigy at something. Like we don't get to go out. All my friends go out. I don't get to go out. I get to experience anything that's considered normal. And then I now get to the stage where I've got freedom. I've got all the money in the world. So I want to try things I want to try. But it's like we said earlier in terms of, I'm a firm believer in doing everything at the right time when you're supposed to do it. If you're 15 years old, do what you're supposed to do at 15 years old. Because let me tell you, I can give you grace if a kid steals chewing gum, I'm like, oh, he's just a kid. If a grown man is stealing chewing gum, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing, bro? And I think that's what it is for prodigies, in a sense where, like, they're given grace for all the stuff they didn't do, and then when they want to actually do those things later on in life, it's like, oh, there you go. So
I've got an interesting question.
Sure.
Interesting, and it's off the back of what we were talking about, right? So I've known Dan for a while. I've seen his businesses. I've seen what he's done. I know his business mindset. Obviously, from hearing you speak, I can understand you're a well-educated man. You're smart. You seem like you're in a really good profession, and you're looking out for yourself. And personally, I've got 2 businesses. I work in tech sales. I feel like I've positioned myself in a right place. Would you say your parents has had an influence in the man you are today, specifically within business and opportunities and the environment? Because personally, and this might be mad to say, no. You don't think no. Not who I am, but who I am within business.
Yeah, but business is just one aspect of your life.
It is, but obviously we're talking about LeVar Ball and Michael Jackson and how their parents had such an influence in how they were successful within their business. Do you think that was a trait because their parents were so hungry for some sort of success that they had to instill it within their kids? And do you think your parents also had that same sort of hunger, and was it instilled in you or not? Do you get what I'm saying? Does it make sense what I'm saying?
The question makes sense. I think with parents here, there's multiple facets. So, although you say that you don't think your parents had a hand in your business acumen or certain aspects of your level of success, I think our character traits and even personality traits are like genes, like chromosome genes, like they're turned on and turned off. So what that means is, like, my mom, for example, she's like, Larry, you have to win. Like, and everyone else saying, you don't have 2 heads. Like, Larry, you have to win. There's no ifs, buts, and maybes, you have to win. Now, in business, there's no real advice there, but that stirred up a level of in the belly that does play out in the real world. It doesn't have a direct correlation to any business decision, any life decision, but there's always, I remember I used to say this when I was younger. My mom used to always say this thing because when I was younger, like growing up in like London, a specific part, like there was always this element of like stuff would happen, and my mom always knew the kind of child I was. Where if something's happening to Dad, let's say me and Dan was really close when we were younger, something to Dad and I'm there, Mama knows that I'm involved. Yeah. She knows her child. Yeah. So Mama knows. So Mama used to say this thing. It's in Yoruba. She'll be like, "Shanumi, like please, just think of me. Yeah. Whenever you're gonna do something, think of me." Now, again, that doesn't have any bearing on any decision making I'm going to make or not make. But it's almost like a gene that's turned on or turned off. Considering when a situation arises, all of a sudden when a situation arises now and I'm hot, I think. Your mum. Yeah. I remember Mum saying like, please, just remember me. Remember that. Remember me is basically saying, remember my struggle. Remember what we went through to get to this place. Like this decision you're about to make can wipe all of that. Please, just remember me. And I say all that to say that I think that there's some aspects of our lives where, at the end of the day, you being a successful in multiple facets of your life come from your certain characteristics and personalities that you have that make you able to be able to, even your personality of being able to try this and then try that and try this and try that and try this. That was birthed from an environment. That was birthed from your mom saying, "You see that opportunity in the States? Would you not go?" Yeah, take it. That child was all the way back from, I could try that and I could try this and I can try that.
Give me the freedom to try different things.
Now, it doesn't have any bearing on any decision you make, but it births every decision you do make. And I think fundamentally, that's the difference between, let's say, the Joe Jacksons of the world, where they're directly linked. So I agree with this as well. But again, like I always say, there's multiple ways it's going to cut. So I agree with the Joe Jacksons, the Andre Agassi's in a sense, or the Emmanuel Agassi, where the moment their child is born, they decide this is what their child is going to do. Yeah. I actually do believe in that. I believe that the child has no say in it. I know some people are going to, this is a crazy thing, but I believe in it. I think it's calm. There's no issue there.
Well, they're not good at that specific thing.
See, I don't believe in that.
Okay, based on the 10,000 hours that you...
Boom, there you go. See, I don't believe in that. So, I get that aspect. They have a direct link to, I was right here, I taught you the skill, you mastered the skill, I'm here while you master the skill, I have a direct impact on your greatness. But then that also leads to other areas of life that is not so great. Maybe relationship skills or emotional intelligence and things like that, where a person can't really read the room and things of that nature. Whereas your parents, for example, have taught you those kind of skills, understanding appreciation, understanding. So in business now, when you have employees and whatnot, you have appreciation. Now, it doesn't link to any decision that you do make. There you go. That's the way I see it.
How you talk in meetings, how you deal with setback. True.
That's the way I see it. I remember someone saying to me, how you treat your missus in terms of like, not necessarily how you treat your missus, but all the things that you'd have to put up with in relationships, patience, taking time to understand what they say. You're going to get some employees here that you can't understand what they're doing. Like, why do you make such a decision? Yeah. But the patience, the ability to try and be emotionally, sympathetic or empathetic, depending on the situation, gives you, there you go. It plays a bit.
And you know what? One thing that I always used to say as well, I couldn't do business with someone that, they say don't do business with someone that cheats on their missus. Yeah. Don't do someone, it's tough, isn't it? Because I think the way someone treats someone that they've known 5-6 years is a bit different to how they'll treat their business. So, I'm a bit in the, I don't think that. But I do see traits in their discipline and things like that. So I always say I wouldn't even do business with someone that's not in good shape. Yeah. Because I see that they're not disciplined individuals. They could try and cancel me on that, but bro, I ain't got to do business, bro. Like, bro. You got to practice what you preach, they say, innit? So it's true. And I think that plays a big part in even when we look at certain people, when we want to take advice from like mentorships and things like that. Like, how could a big guy be telling me how to dress? So it plays a big part in that. But I want to remember my point with my pops. So my dad had a business when we were younger. So I seen him make money, like thousands, like crazy dumb money. So that, I think that's probably what inspired a lot of my entrepreneurial spirits as well. But he also made me watch a lot of things that my classmates weren't watching. I grew up watching The Apprentice. I grew up watching Dragon's Den. Like, I was a fiend for that. I was watching documentaries on people like Richard Branson, Richard Reed, all of these people. So that's probably what helped me nurture into maybe picking certain business attributes up, and then obviously seeing it from my dad as well. But with that, there's also things that he didn't do that I would do. So he never had a credit card. To this day, he doesn't have a credit card because he doesn't believe in credit. He's like, if I ain't got the money, why would I use it? And then I'm thinking, Dad, you can't, bro. In this world, you need to use the bank's money to make more money, and then you just pay that off. But obviously he comes from a Nigerian background where they didn't really have credit back then anyway, and if he didn't have the money, he wouldn't get it. So they don't believe in debt. He hates debt. He just doesn't even like it. And I said, no, Dad, there's also good debt as well. So there's things that I've probably taken from my dad, but things that I've learned that he wouldn't have probably done. But that's pretty much it. That's the episode done, man. That's a good hour. Good hour, man. But appreciate you guys coming down as well, man. Solid. We need to do one on Marsh Street, man, because I've